1. Dearest listeners, book babes and book bros, welcome to Book Babble. I'm Tanya, the host of Book Babble with Witlet Women, and we have a special host today. Her name is Hannah. Hannah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Hannah. I am an avid reader from Colorado, and I'm excited to be here.
Well, thank you. And our guest of the hour is Jensen. Jensen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jensen. I'm a romance, mostly contemporary, moving into sports a little bit author. And I'm from Indianapolis.
Well, I appreciate both of you all hopping on with us today. Are you ready to babble?
Of course.
All right, I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock and Hannah will start us out.
All right, Jensen, I am curious, who are your auto buy and auto read authors?
Um, Stacey Willingham is an automatic buy and automatic read.
Mhm.
Michaela Jean Taylor, she's another romance author, and usually Stephen King. I've gotten really bad about getting his new ones. He just puts so many out, but
I know.
usually Stephen King too.
I love it.
Oh, I've never heard that answer before. I'm curious and intrigued.
I
All
love a good
right.
Stephen King.
Next question, just to start us off easy, is what got you into writing?
I've always done it since I was a kid. Stories in your head, you make them up, that kind of thing. And I've always done it. And then I took creative writing classes at Harvard in high school. And then I was an English major in college after I dropped pre-med. So,
So many questions.
That's so cool. Do you ever incorporate your pre-med into your stories?
yeah, especially so the book I just put out, Heartbreaker, it's pro wrestling sports. And so obviously with like any physical activity there is um injuries and stuff like that. So I try to be as realistic with those and use the little bit of knowledge that I have from being pre-med with those. So
So now that you've mentioned breaking into sports and still doing contemporary, but you're trying to break into sports and with the
Mhm.
the wrestling book, how much research goes into figuring out all of that, like the sports rules and how to write it?
so I grew up watching wrestling, so I know a lot about it. And then I actually wrestled. I did train for pro wrestling style when I was in high school. Um, Not with my high school, but like there was a company not far from where I lived. And so I would go and train with them. And then I got hurt and had to have knee surgery. And so I decided I was going to go to college and not be a wrestler. But I still have friends in the business, friends who used to be into business. So I had a lot of knowledge anyway, and then use the connections I have to get more knowledge, but then also just like sitting down and watching old matches and stuff like that. So it's a lot of research, but a lot of stuff I already knew too.
You have had quite a life,
Yes.
I must say.
Yeah, that stop people sometimes when they'll ask me why wrestling. I'm like, because I grew up watching it and I used to do it. And they always kind of pause for a second and they're like, wait, what?
I used to watch it all the time too. Like Sting was my guy growing up. I still
Mhm.
have t-shirts with him on it. I just haven't watched it in a while since he retired.
I am an Undertaker, Stone Cold
Yeah.
girly. Those are my guys. I'm also a John Cena girly. So, like, John Cena's retiring soon. I'm going to cry. It's fine.
I should watch wrestling. That's what I'm
It's
I,
so
gathering.
fun.
yes,
It's so fun. I will
it
say
is.
like
It's a
the
lot of fun.
previous like more recent stuff is kind of lame because like you have more censorship going on. The old stuff from the 90s and the 80s is really
Oh,
good.
give me Attitude Era any day.
Yes.
Give me Attitude Era. I mean, I don't watch it as religiously as I used to. When I started working on Heartbreaker, I did kind of start watching it more regularly than I had been. Um, but I mostly just kind of like follow it on social media and keep up with the people that I know who are in the business, and that's really all I do anymore.
Does your FMC wrestle?
She does. Yeah,
I
Heartbreaker,
love
they're
her.
both wrestlers. So,
Did you write her after yourself?
no.
No.
No, I mean, there's obviously always a little bit of self-insertion
Right.
into any book that you write. So she actually doesn't start off as a pro wrestler. She goes in with no knowledge of it. So there was kind of that aspect of it of like transitioning, somebody transitioning into the world of wrestling without really knowing like what they're doing when they step in the ring. So I guess yeah, in that way. Um, but I mean, I feel like everybody always puts a little piece of themselves
Yeah,
into their character.
that's awesome.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have 9 seconds left. I highly doubt we're gonna get another question out there, so I'm just gonna let it run out. And
Okay.
yeah. So congratulations, you made it all the way through. So we will put the 5 minutes that kind of devolved into more wrestling than questions, but it's fine. We'll put that on our social channels. And then the rest of the episode, we're just gonna chit chat and have some fun. It'll go on Spotify and YouTube for everyone else to watch and hear.
So
Um,
sorry if we like derailed. I just,
no, I loved the conversation. I was happy with it.
I know I'm gonna watch wrestling now, so
I
that's what I've gotten from it.
mean,
You
I will
should.
say start with Attitude Era. Like it's Attitude Era is the best.
Yes.
Um, Early 2010s were pretty good too. Like some of the stories were kind of lame, but like you lived for it anyway. Like
I love the like cringiness of the 80s when they were terrible actors, but the
oh yeah.
stunts were amazing.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
oh, it's so good, Hannah. If you have Peacock, just get on there. Peacock has so many,
Yeah.
so many episodes that you can
I
go
will do
back
that.
to.
I
Oh
will do that.
yeah.
One thing I did want to make sure we touched on though while we are on here, kind of pivoting back to books, is Jensen, do you have any advice for aspiring authors?
So it's really funny you ask. I actually have a couple people that I don't know if mentor is the right word, but like they come to me and they ask me questions and things like that about like getting into it. And I love doing that. I love sitting down and talking to people about it. But the one thing that I always like the first thing I always ask somebody is, do you have anything written? Like, do you have anything at all? Some people say yes, or some people have like little bits and pieces. But the thing I always tell people is you can't do something with nothing. And so you have to have something to work with, even if it's like just an idea, but like then you have to start working it out and fleshing it out and writing it down. Otherwise, like you can't do anything. It's just an idea. So
Right.
getting it on paper and getting it out there is the first step to everything, and it's the only way to really like get going.
That makes
So
sense.
Yeah.
Do you use anything like PR or ARC readers? Like how do you go from, having that idea on the paper to actually getting it to a publishing stage?
so I always start with a notebook. Everything I do starts in a notebook. I
Like
think that
handwritten?
handwritten,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that handwriting, there's something so unique about handwriting and it makes your creative side come out. And if I'm ever stuck on something, handwriting it out helps me out so much. So I usually start with a notebook and then I move. So I actually draft really differently. And the only person I generally talk to in my first draft is going to be my editor and usually my husband. Because I'm
Gotta
like, if
keep it
it
under
keeps you,
wrap.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like if it keeps you interested, then it'll keep somebody else interested. So 'cause he's not a
Yeah.
reader. Um, and then I go into, so I actually start off with a screenplay draft. It's very dialogue heavy, not super detailed, unless it's like I just have to write the detail down. And then I move into a manuscript draft and then self edits. And then it goes to my editor and my alpha. So I send it to my editor and my alpha readers at the same time. And then I get my edits back and suggestions back from alpha readers and then work through it all. And if there's anything like majorly new or anything, I'll resend it to my alphas just to kind of get their opinion on it. But other than that, it just kind of goes back to my editor for like a final look through and then ARC readers usually. Um, So kind of
I
excited.
love that though. Like, I haven't
Mhm.
actually spoken to any other author who utilizes that method where they do the screenplay draft first.
Mhm.
And I think that's a brilliant idea because you can really, you know, you can really plot your story in such an efficient way with those, just like
Yeah,
understanding where conversations are going.
yeah. So when I did my very first book until now, I just like laid it all out and just went with it. And then it was in the middle, like maybe draft like 40. I mean, there's like 1,000 drafts of that book in my computer.
Oh.
Um, but somewhere along the way, I had talked to a friend at the time, and because I was stuck, and he suggested, because he went to school for film, and he suggested putting it into a screenplay. And I was like, I don't know about that. But then I did it, and it helped me out tremendously, like just getting through. So now any book I write starts off in a screenplay. I think it really helps, like you said, with the conversation. And I'm not so hunkered down by the details and the movements and things like that. Like I can get through the story and see where it's going.
That's amazing. I love that.
Mhm.
Okay, so I have like taken all of our time, so I'm gonna let Hannah talk now. I'm gonna sit here quietly.
I'm just curious when you knew you were going to write this story, your most recent.
Which the most recent one?
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually on my timeline for later, like in like 3 years from now. Um,
Oh, so
but
you're a planner.
I am a planner.
Nice.
In my normal life, I am the planner. I like to know what's going on, that kind of thing. Now, when it comes to writing a book, I'm not as much. I'm actually like a mix of the two. So I finished the last book of my series, Begin Again, and I was gonna start working on a book that I moved it to next year because I got the idea for Heartbreaker actually last September, and I could not get it out of my head. And I just couldn't. And so I was like, you know what? We're just going with it. We're gonna go for it. And I got in touch with some of my friends who are still in the business. And I was like, hey, would you want to talk to me about this? And they were immediately like, yes, that's really cool. You're gonna do that. Kind of been waiting for you to do this. So um and so that was kind of like my confirmation to be like, okay, this is the right time. I'm doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, when it's flowing, you gotta flow. Like,
Literally, you gotta take it and run.
Yeah, like
that's
that
awesome.
story needed told clearly. I
Yeah.
was gonna be quiet.
Clearly,
No,
I was
no.
just like, you guys won't shut up. So apparently, we're going with this.
That's
That's
awesome.
amazing.
So do you picture your FMC and your MMC before you put them on paper, or like as you write them, do they kind of build themselves?
It's kind of both. Like I generally kind of know what they're gonna look like. It can be a little bit harder when I'm first starting a series out because I'm like just meeting those characters. But as the like series progresses, I really know what they look like and like their mannerisms and their attitudes and stuff like that. I will say that with Heartbreaker and the Elite Wrestling Entertainment Series, it's been a little bit harder just because I built an entire company. So, like, I built out so many different people and I wanted to know what they all looked like and what they all did. So, that was a little harder. And there are still some people I'm like, I know your name, but I don't know what you look like.
Yet.
You look
Yes.
like, yeah, yeah, it's coming. So it's a little bit of both. I will say like Pinterest is my best friend when it comes to certain things. Pinterest is a game. I want to say game changer, but I don't know if that's the right word. But it definitely helps um, because there are like just random, stock photos and other photos on there that kind of like give you an idea what somebody might look like, and you kind of piece them together. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, I'd say it's probably both. But I'm always open. Like people come up and be like, "Oh, well, I thought they looked like this," and I'm like, "That's great. If that's what you thought, that's great. It's in your head. I know what they look like to me, but we all self-insert. Let's be real. Okay, we
Yes,
all
that's true.
self-insert.
That's why we read.
Seriously. Exactly. Like if that FMC is blonde and tiny, she's now, thick and has dark hair. Like
Yeah, every time.
that's what happens in my head.
Yeah, that's why we read.
Yeah, literally.
Well, Jensen, we are just about out of time, so I wanted to open the floor to you and let you, say anything that you want to your readers. If you have any announcements, feel free. The space is yours.
Yeah. So I have a Christmas novella coming out on December 9th. It's built into the same universe. There's not as much wrestling in it. I think there's like one match in it. So it's very kind of like Christmas oriented. But I am excited about that. And then I have some really other exciting things planned coming up. Lots of events next year. I just booked an event that I'm really excited about, but I can't say what it is yet. But let's just say that it's going to be great. So very excited about that.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I mean, lots of book stuff coming up just in general, but
Lots of exciting stuff.
very much, yeah.
I'm really excited about that novella.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on that.
My editor literally was like, I think this is my favorite book you've ever done. And I'm like, you're only saying that because it's only 45,000 words instead of 130. And she was like, no.
I'm gonna grab it. What's the title of it? Are you allowed to say?
So yeah, so it's called Winter's Kiss. So any book in the wrestling series will either be named after their finishing move or their gimmick name.
I
Yes.
love
Wait till you
So
search both of
that.
those things.
so Winter's Kiss is her finishing move, and then Heartbreaker is the FMC Savannah. It's her finishing move in Heartbreaker. So everything will either be their gimmick or their finishing move. And I knew that ahead of time. I was like, I really want it to be like where it's something like the titles are cute, obviously, but I wanted it to be where it's like got that wrestling bit of tie in too.
I
So,
love
okay,
that.
really quickly, are these all moves that you've made up, or are they like inspired? Are they actual moves from
So
wrestling?
I mean, obviously, like everything has an actual name, right? But there's like Heartbreaker was one that I put together actually with a friend. I took it to her and I was like, "What do you think about this?" And she's like, "Add this and it's perfect." Winter's Kiss was just a very basic move that I was like, "This is your finisher," because I don't have time, but this is your move. Um, but yeah, I do. I want them to each kind of have like a unique thing. I don't want it to be just like everybody gets a basic one, but yeah.
I love
Awesome.
that. I'm so sorry, Tanya, but whenever I like find out why a book title is what it is in the book, I get like chills every single time, and I love that.
Yes,
Yes.
I love to have a title with an actual meaning to it. So
Yeah,
it generally, if one of my titles will always have some kind of name drop somewhere in the book. So yeah.
I love that.
Amazing. Well, Jensen, we've had so much fun this morning talking to you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's
We
been so
look
much fun.
forward to getting our hands on Winter's Kiss.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right, have a good day.
You too. Thanks.